Hello everybody and welcome to episode number 5 of the Chunk Locked Ironman account. In the previous episode, we completed the chunk south of Lumbridge, basically the eastern part of the Lumbridge swamp. We trained Slayer until we got Slayer locked. We did a couple quests, we accessed the catacombs to get a couple items. We also got level 40 mining, which was a pretty hefty grind just with copper and tin. So let's see what we can roll here before we go on with the chunk roll. If we roll this Alcaret Eastern chunk, we have a 40 defense requirement, we're at the armor, and we have a 69 thieving requirement to crack a safe. So that might be a little bit of a grind. We also have to get a bronze mace somewhere, and we have to complete a beginner achievement, so pretty simple there, pretty standard. If we were to roll the southwestern part of the swamp, that's only a 20 smithing requirement, so that's pretty simple. We've already seen what the other 3 chunks can be, since we already explained that in previous videos. So let's go on ahead and roll a new chunk. I kinda wanna keep going west to the Wizard's Tower. Nope, we roll Alcaret. So this chunk has a pretty hefty grind with, 40 defense not hefty, but 69 thieving is gonna be a little bit hefty. We're gonna see how we're gonna go on and do that. So 40 defense to wear a piece of Addy armor, 69 thieving to crack a safe. We have to buy Addy platelets from the shop, get a bronze mace, and we have to complete the docking out achievement. So our map is just starting to grow. We have 3 chunks unlocked now. And this should be, honestly, I think we're gonna do thieving with saves. I think that might be our best bet right now. And 40 defense, we're probably doing it in the catacombs. Should be a pretty straightforward task pretty quickly. So let's get started with our chunk. We're gonna start right off the bat with some thieving levels. So yeah, we're gonna do this via saves. I only have 2 saves, but each save gives me at least 2.4k XP. So 400 for each of the first 2 locks and then 1.6 for opening the safe. So that's the way we're gonna do it. I'm gonna have to wait here, but it's gonna be pretty AFK. I'm gonna be able to edit and do other things. 64 thieving. That's 65 thieving. Just running between the saves since we only have 2. 66 thieving, and we're gonna take a little bit of a break here. This was like 4 or 5 hours of waiting for saves. And we're actually killing the Scub goblins here. Why are we killing those? I basically evaluated all of the enemies in the catacombs, and these ones had basically the same drops as the Corpse Archer and Corpse Mages. However, they had drop a skeleton champion scroll. So yeah, it's basically the same drop, but I have a small chance at a champion scroll, so we're gonna kill this ones until we get level 40 defense. We get fishing bait, we get feathers, we get runes, we get arrows, we get spirits, and we can also get talismans, which I don't know if it's gonna play in a factor later, but you can see we have fire talisman in our inventory already. Here we go, 32 defense. We're moving pretty quickly with our training here. 33 defense. I'm getting 125 defense per kill, which is quite a bit, if I'm being honest. That's 34 defense. And 35. And a nice prayer level here. Some constitution. But yeah, the way you're seeing it really quickly is the way I'm getting them. Like this grind, 30 to 36 took like 10 minutes. It's crazy. I did have to go resupply a couple times because I was taking a lot of damage. But I would normally just wait for my adrenaline to go down to get the free heal. All I buried bones. That's 38 defense. That's level 39 defense. And we have the big 42 constitution. Into the big 40 defense. So yeah, we're done with the grind here. Catacombs has a really good mix of enemies. We can get like runes, we can get a bunch of nice items here for us. But for now, we're gonna stop the catacombs. We're gonna probably spend a lot of time here for Slayer once we get Slayer unlocked. And back into thieving, that's 67 thieving. Just running between the saves again. 68 thieving, we're getting around 40 to 50k per hour with two saves, which is not that bad. And the big 69 thieving. That's the requirement for us. Let's head into Alcarid. Here we are, standing on the west gate of Alcarid. This is the only way we can enter the city as we do not have the northern chunk. So here we go, rolling into Alcarid. And the first thing we're gonna do, and we're gonna get an achievement just for entering the city, but we're gonna unlock the lodestone. This is actually gonna prove to be pretty helpful later on. In case I need to train more thieving, I can actually just lodestone between the Lumbridge and Alcarid, or there's a furnace real quick nearby the lodestone, just like in Lumbridge. So that's gonna be pretty cool. The next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go to Louis' Legs, and we're gonna buy the adamant plate legs for a nice 10k, which we do have right now. We also have items. We also have a lot of shield bows we can sell. And we also have to equip them. So with 40 defense, boom. That's a chunk task completed. And one of the other things we have to do is we have to head south and we have to pick up a bronze mace. And I researched this and I saw that the bronze mace is actually in this house right here. And for the final task, we need to picklock the safe, which is why we got 69 thieving for us. So bam, there we go. 69 thieving, picklock the safe, chunk completed, pretty easy tasks, and let's keep rolling. And now into the chunk picker. Let's complete our chunk and then let's roll a new chunk. So in this chunk we got level 40 defense and we wore a piece of adamant armor, which were the 80 legs that we bought from Louis' Legs. We cracked the safe in the Caridian Desert with 69 thieving. We got the adamant plate legs. We picked up the bronze mace front floor. And we completed the docking out achievement, which is just entering through the west gate. And that's it. That's the chunk complete. So before we roll a new chunk, it's been a while since I went over my options, so let's go and see what options we have to roll here. So chunk number 1, going a little bit north into the farm, has a 38 cooking requirement, 30 crafting, 50 defense, 38 fishing, 39 hunter, 35 slayer. We will actually be unlocked for slayer here because we can now kill birds in the farm. And I'm guessing this also unlocks some sort of access to the Lumbridge caves, because I'm seeing the wall piece there. We have to get some mystic gloves, a light mystic hat. We have to do a couple quests. Okay, so this is it's a pretty big chunk if we were to roll this. Then we also have this chunk to the left, which would require us to get a crafting requirement, get some cooking, some defense, some fishing, some hunter, some slayer. So I'm guessing this also unlocks in some way the Lumbridge swamp mines, from what I am seeing here. Probably with the Lost Drive quest. That makes sense. So a lot of requirements, but pretty low level. The big one is 50 defense, but we already have 40, so. This is basically a free chunk, just melt a steel bar. Then we have this one right here. I think this is gonna be... We also need to get... Okay. Okay, so we can also do Lost Drive with this chunk. Okay, up to step 3. I'm guessing this is gonna unlock the caves as well. We basically have the same requirements for a lot of chunks. I don't know how I'm gonna train Hunter, because I don't really have any Hunter way of training right now, but we'll see. Let's see. Okay, if we were to roll this one, we'll have 85 attack to wield a Ripper Claw and slay a Ripper Demon. We cannot kill Reaper Demons, so we're gonna have to backlog these. especially because we're Slayer locked. But if we were to get this one and we didn't have any good options to train Slayer, we might have to make a few exceptions because there's no way I'm training 96 Slayers in 3 or 4 chunks. And if we go to the south, we have to start the tourist trap, so we have to get some smithing levels, which are pretty easy, so this is basically a free chunk. Alrighty, let's just mark these things again. And then let's get on to calculate this, and then let's get on to rolling. Let's pick our next chunk. I did that just had a bunch of options there. Okay, so we rolled the rated dig site there. So we lock this one. So this has a 96 Slayer requirement, which we're gonna have to backlog. Because there's no way we can get 96 Slayer. It also has a 77 Slayer requirement, which we're gonna have to backlog because we're Slayer locked right now. So this is basically a free chunk with no Slayer. Let me just make sure that I can get all my chunks from here. Yeah, there's a little bit of an option here. We'll have to see about Slayer because there's no way I'm gonna get 96 Slayer just with Jacqueline, even if I roll all the chunks that give me the enemies or Jacqueline. But so we're gonna have to see about that. But let's roll another chunk because right now we're Slayer locked. We'll think about that later. Okay, we rolled the West Lumbridge Swamp. The West Lumbridge Swamp. See what it unlocks. I mean, this is a water chunk, right? There's no... The only thing would be this, but I cannot access it from my current chunk. And then this one is fine. Okay. So all we have to do in this chunk is get 20 smithing to smelt the steelware. Let's talk a little bit about backlogging tasks. So right now we have backlogged basically all the Slayer tasks. So we have 55 Slayer to equip a couple items. And then we have 96 Slayer for a Ripper Demon and 77 for a Desert Strike Worm. The reason we have it locked right now is because we have a task that's birds, and we don't have any chickens on our chunk. They're actually a chunk north of us. Or, yeah, I think chunk north of us is where we get them. But even if we were to get them, the 55 Slayer seems like a reasonable requirement, but we might have to make some compromises there. Even if I could grind to 96 just with Jacqueline, that would take months, and I don't think I could kill a Ripper Demon. That sounds like a boss that I probably don't have any equipment to do, because the best insult I can get is... Right now I can get iron armor, well I guess steel armor, and AD weapons. And that's basically it. So we're gonna have to see when we unlock Slayer. We'll get more into that and talk about how we plan to approach Slayer, maybe a compromise, like as sure as I unlock Slayer and I can go like 55 Slayer is perfect. We can do that, but then, you know, maybe each chunk we have to get 1 or 2 Slayer levels until we get to like 77. We'll see. We'll see how everything goes. But yeah, thanks for watching. In the next episode, we're gonna start by smelting a steel bar, which should be pretty easy, and then we're gonna roll a new chunk. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you all in the next episode.